Hello, and welcome to this day's experiment because me, Yegwen from Yegali's show, is trying to run a show only in English for full 2.5 hours. Probably, I don't know how much time will the replays take, but this is as an experiment to show you that yes, I can. I indeed can, and I will try to stream in English. And of course, I'm open to your suggestions, so you can leave comments in the chat. I'm reading the chat once in a while, so I'll probably note your comments, and I'll be very grateful to have your comments on board. Anyway, the game has just loaded, so let us get into the game number. What was that? 7 previously, now 7 minus 1, that must be 6. So game number 6. Let me just check one thing, because we have another rogue name. So let me just check with what my friend Rainbow and other friend Mr. How was it? Fatality Man. Yeah, Mr. Fatality Man. That was a terrible nickname. But let me just check. What did he think that player was? Oh, another Stephano. And this is NesTea. Wow, another brilliant matchup. So, to start with, good luck, have fun, NesTea. Yeah, I shouldn't have even bothered to check which player that is. NesTea is just someone that Fame just follows. So to start with, IPL observed, we have NesTea in the right side of Antigua shipyard map, and his opponent will be nonetheless that Stephano from the Millennium Clan, if I'm not mistaken. Stephano is a player that has shown really good class playing against Koreans, and as you know, NesTea is a Korean, he's top-notch Korean player, and we also saw that he's going for some early shenanigans. He went for 9 or 10 pull, a very early spawning pull, so he'll be trying to push his opponent really fast and just check how much damage can he get. Now Stephano is taking his time. First he had 15 Zerglings, he had 15 Zerglings on that stage of the game. That would be something, wouldn't it? But he instead took 15 workers. Yep, that's a shame. And he already started mining from his gas. Spawning pool is nearly finished, and we see NesTea going for 6 Zerglings, some early pressure. 8 Zerglings. And that's just probably for checking how well his opponent is defending. Now, you may be thinking, alright, but is NesTea in such a good situation with this pressure? If this pressure won't work, well, NesTea then will be four workers short. Now, that's not really true, because we saw NesTea coming back from some really difficult games. Oh, here's Stephano spotting the Zergling, so he'll be preparing. And NesTea is even preparing for a counter-attack. Where was that? No, that was indeed NesTea trying to sneak in a proxy. I don't know if I should call this proxy. He was just trying to sneak in a spine crawler, but that didn't work out well, and he had to cancel it. Now we have all 8 Zerglings of NesTea inside Stephano's base. Of course, Stephano is following up with his Zerglings, but NesTea haven't chosen the right spot for engagement here, and I'm under the impression that Stephano got the better of it. Yeah, on the losses tab, we see that NesTea has lost much more minerals than that Stephano did. So that worked really well for Stephano. I think that NesTea's plan was to put that spine crawler inside his opponent base, and now he's just wishing, oh, I wonder why didn't I build that spine crawler inside my own base? Well, that just happens. So NesTea is now pressured back against the wall. He'll probably do a good job defending. We never saw him perform otherwise. He's always extremely good. Stephano is not really pushing. He's probably just checking the front of his opponent's base to see what's going on there. And both of the players are doing speed for Zerglings right now. But Stephano will have speed much faster. Now he also is going for some Baneling Nest, and none of the players. One of the players is taking an expansion, and that's Stephano, and he's really smart playing the Zeg vs Zeg right now, because he'll be able to force his opponent into more and more defensive mode, while he doesn't spend that much resources on offensive. So with his own Banelings, he may try to snipe some workers, he may try to get rid of most of his opponent's Zerglings. Anyway, he'll be trying really hard to do something just to find a mistake in his opponent defensive abilities, but NesTea is preparing really well. He's doing a spine crawler here, and he's also taking his own base, so that's all goodness. Now the question is, oh, that looked really angry. That spine crawler must have had a very bad day at the office, but never mind that. Stephano is checking. All right, what does he has? He has some Zerglings, he has a spine crawler up on the ramp, and he has an expansion going. There's a queen here. All right, I won't be attacking, I'll be just defending, and Stephano is probably hoping for a higher worker count, which he surprisingly doesn't have. So that's really interesting. Right now, Stephano has less workers, with NesTea losing his initial aggression, then wow, that's really surprising. I wasn't expecting that Stephano will have less workers than NesTea, but yeah, he has. So this is why we call NesTea legendary, guys. At the start of the game, he lost some potential workers, some potential income due to the aggression that he did, but now, just to pure awesomeness of his macro power, he's getting back to the game, and he has more workers, he has a better economy than his opponent, so he's in a really good spot. And even sees, alright, he has bailingness, so he didn't spend gas on anything else. That's really good for me to know. Now we have a Roach Warren, that's good. Stephano isn't trying to skip Roach Warren. What we see some players do is, yeah, I'll probably be alright with just Zerglings and some Banelings, but once you go Roaches, once your opponent tries to invite you with Roaches, you're in a really tight spot. Now what Stephano does, and it's actually a quite smart move, he's taking another hatchery, and so does NesTea. So these guys are all trying to find just a little knack in the defenses of their opponents, and they don't manage to find that much, so they are just trying to find something more, and they are both heavily investing their economy. 47 drones for NesTea, that is amazing. At this stage of a game, most of the just lower league players wouldn't be ashamed of having that without any pressure applied to them or by them. Now we see Stephano trying to get his army up, and on the supply count it doesn't look that bad. He has both Roaches and Zerglings and even some Banelings in the background, so that consists for a very good attack move, but will he do it? That's the question. Will he be able to do it? Will he be able to break the defenses of his opponent, especially that we have two spine crawlers over here, and that's just not looking good for Stephano. He may even try to back up. That would be a smart move, but no, he's trying to go full on attack. Alright, we have Roaches tanking some of the damage, some Roaches of opponents being broken, and it looks rather good for Stephano right now. The only fear that he has is these two spine crawlers and not losing his own Banelings. We have lots of Zerglings that will be able to tank some damage from the Roaches, because Roaches take more damage from spine crawlers, but that doesn't seem to be enough, and NesTea is overmassing his opponent. Stephano is in a tight spot. He needs to back out his Roaches. He tries to micro not to lose too many of them and impede as many losses to the enemy as possible, but we see that NesTea got the better end of the stick, and just as I told that, we see that Stephano finally has come over in the worker count, so he has a better economy now, slightly better economy, probably due to the fact, see this is the army that NesTea didn't need, so he didn't know where Stephano will be finishing his attack, and thus he produced more army than he needed for the defenses. And this is the way that Stephano has got away with more workers, forcing his opponent to spend more minerals on defenses and on producing units. Units that you don't use are units that are wasted, that are workers that could be and are not, and that is all wasted income. So we see Stephano sacrificing some of his Zerglings just to check how well this expansion is going, perhaps trying to count the workers. Alright, he knows that he's not in a very bad spot. He produces 8 additional drones, so that's a big investment, and he carries on for more and more upgrades. Now that's +2 attack level. Now we have only +1 finished for NesTea. Will he be good enough with +1? I don't think so. +2 often changes the tides of the battle. And Stephano isn't a guy that that is just lame in the battles. You can expect the best of them, the best of him, and you can even see how fast he selects and deselects these roaches because he cares about them so much. They are his little puppets. Now, one other thing to point out, and just a little bit surprising, is that both of the players took their care to spread the creep around the map. I don't know if that's a new trend because we saw for a very long time that Zerg versus Zerg, neither of the players was spreading creep across the map. Now you'll ask me why. That was because, alright, I won't have an advantage while defending, but also my opponent won't have an advantage moving faster on creep while he's in my base, because Zerglings, Roaches, all of the Zerg units move faster even on the enemy's creep, and that was just not something that players wanted to go for. But this game is different. I don't really know why. I should have asked one of the players. Now, that's a really good line. That's a really good arc of defense for NesTea. Stephano just knew, alright, I will not be able to take that fight, but he might try to do a two-pronged attack. No, he's just trying to force off. Yep, he managed to snipe one of the spine crawlers, and he'll be now just trying, he'll be just, you know, annoying his opponent with moving roaches back and forth, forcing NesTea to focus on his movement. Now, what NesTea does are Hydralisks, and Hydralisks are really good. We see Stephano sacrificing some of his roaches just to get the rest of them in front of the base. Now let's see what he'll do with them. He's trying to get some into the worker line, but they got stuck near a queen. And they burrowed. That's good. The rest of them will be finished off, but did they cause any damage to worker skill? That's not so good. Mr. Stephano, you would be trying to do better next time. But also what that did is it forced the opponent to split his army into two parts. And one of the parts was defending the natural, the second one was trying to defend the third. And Stephano, I think he's pushing the limit here. He shouldn't be attacking, but he seems to be willing to sacrifice some of his roaches to snipe this Hydralisk. And the mix that NesTea has, the mix of units of Hydralisks and roaches, is really nasty, particularly to an enemy that took care and only builds Zerglings and Roaches. That's not too big of an army. But wait, here we have Stephano coming back on top for a second there, catching some of NesTea's army in the middle of the field, splitting it in half. That's very good. He lost some Zerglings of his, but he's continuing to annoy the enemy, and that's something that will probably pay off for him. So Stephano is really testing his opponent's NesTea's ability to split his army, to do a well calculation, because he needs to calculate, alright, how much do I need to defend here versus how much do I need to defend over there. And there is some fantastic damage being dealt to the worker line, lots of kills this time. My goodness, Stephano with 42 workers killed, even harassing the rest of the army of NesTea. And NesTea, even though he had more units for most of the game, he was just not able to split them accordingly to deal with this whole pressure. And Stephano is just coming on top in this matchup. 148 against 129 now. Let's see how the worker count works. 64 workers against 25. So Stephano with a huge lead at this stage of the game. And it seems NesTea is in a very tight spot. Unless he can come up with some nasty tactics to annoy his opponent, to destroy most of his infrastructure, that will be really difficult to come on top again. And we have the main battle in front of us. Roaches and Hydralisk are doing a really good damage, but look at this wonderful circle that surrounds NesTea's army. Stephano took a really good care for positioning of his units. But wait, we have NesTea with more and more reinforcements, still being alive and kicking in this matchup, even though his opponent has superior upgrades. So this is just how much damage the Hydralisks are able to deal, and this is just how much you need to be careful while relying on pure roaches plus some Zerglings. That was something. I must tell you guys that this battle was something. I wasn't expecting that outcome, but Hydralisks are doing just so good. Now Stephano taking care of Hydralisk in this battle first before he takes care of anything else, and we have GG from NesTea, and thus Stephano takes this game with a very not so common tactics. He went mass roaches against a Zeg that went Hydrolisks and roaches, and that's really difficult to deal with. So that was kind of interesting to see, well, it worked for him, but I just wonder, was it this part of the game when Stephano has attacked his opponent and then come on top with his workers that really worked for him, or was it anything else? I really can't tell right now, but it was certainly a show worth watching. So, alright, we're done with game number 6. A really good choice, Mr. Rainbow, a really good choice indeed. Now we'll be getting back with game number 5, so stay tuned for more excitement this evening with Yegwen's show and Yegwen running an experimental show in English. We'll get back to you in a second.